Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys watching Joe Boo's Day Job. Although I think I need to change the name to Joe Boo's Day and Night Job because we've been doing so much for the red brick house and trying to get it together. I am just so pumped about working on it and getting things done. What I'm doing here, believe it or not, several weeks ago, all this wood right here is from the red brick house. These were floor joists and two by fours and things from the red brick house. Some of them had actually been outside for a while, so they soaked up a lot of moisture. But I milled them up, and I've actually had them stacked up down here with boards in between it, so that way they could dry. The good thing here in the workshop, with the air conditioning and stuff in there, it takes the moisture out. So the moisture content in these things are really, really cool. You can see some of the nails that were on the face of it, but you look at that wood itself, it's really, really nice. So a couple of things that we're going to do at the Red Brick House, and we actually had the brainstorm, me and my wife coming up the road. One of the new codes that I didn't know about is you have to have the bathroom toilet 15 inches on center from a fixture or the wall. So you have to have that 30 inches. So the problem is that's where we had to move the toilet flange. And we moved the toilet flange over, but now we've got 28 inches of space left over. And we want to maximize the amount of space that we have. We had been looking at vanities at Floor Decor and at Lowe's and things like that. And we were looking at one of the combinations about $499, which is kind of pricey because most of it's particle board and stuff. I mean, I've got a couple sheets of birch plywood, which is about $80 a sheet. That would be more than enough to make two of those and face it out with some of this lumber. So I'm going to start building the vanities. I'm going to try and build the one for downstairs beforehand. The problem, of course, was when we were looking at the price of the vanity, that came with a vessel sink and a countertop with it. And it was 24 inch, but that's too small. We want that extra 4 inches. We always want that extra 4 inches. So what we decided to do, and we found a great, it's a black vessel sink and black faucet online for I think $149. So it's a porcelain black vessel, and it's like an old style faucet, 149. Well, I can build the vanity, just my time. And what we figured we would do, we're going to do it so, or at least in my mind, I'm going to have some of these bigger pieces as the legs and have the open slats in the bottom so you can put towels on there stacked up and have drawers or have doors that open up on there so you can keep stuff under the vanity around the sink, and we'll put a vessel sink on top of it. But what we're going to do for the top, you'll remember I made like a sample countertop. It's about 7 or 8 foot long, about 24 inches wide, and we actually have it right down there now as basically a table top where we're just putting tools and stuff on there. But what we're going to do is we will cut that down to the 28 inches we need, 28 by 22. We will spar varnish it, which is waterproof. It's like what you put on a boat, and we'll put that on top of it. We'll paint the cabinet white. You got the sink that's black on there, and we've got the color of the natural wood in there. So we think that that's going to be a good look. You can leave a comment and let me know if that's ugly or not. Now, for the island, we want something substantial for the island. The island's going to be about 92 inches long and about 48 inches wide, and the stove is going to fit in that island. That's going to be the feature of it. It's going to end up being a big butcher block made out of the wood from the red brick house. So this is where we're going to be gluing this up. Because it's so big, my planer is a 15-inch planer. So with it being a 31-inch wing on each side of the stove, these right here will be one. They'll be cut in half and then glued together. So this is a little bit wider than, I think this is like 13 inches. I'll do another one that's like 12 inches, and we'll plane them all the same thickness, and then we'll laminate those two sides together, sand it on off, and that'll give us, boom, the 24 that we need for the wings. And I'll do the same thing for the the main length, which is the 92. And so that's where I have some of the 2x4s right here, and I've got like another one of these right here, and I've got a couple more outside. I don't know that I have enough of the 2x4s here to do the whole thing, but I'll at least get the wings and at least one section of that glued up. So I think that this will be a cool look, because this is also the same wood and the color, of course, that you would have for the flooring. So we're going to take these. I use Tribond interior exterior glue, and we're going to put plenty of that on these. And we're going to clamp this up overnight, and we're going to use lots of clamps on this. And I mean lots of clamps, because we want this sucker to be strong. And then we can run this through the planer and cut it in half and then laminate it. So that will give us our 24. My goal here is I can't, the thing with history is this. The thing with history is I had an interesting conversation with the lady from the museum. And what she said was, because she said, oh, you're the guy who's working on the house. I said, yeah, that's me. And she said, well, really, technically, the back of the house should be torn off. And I was like, say what? She said, if you really want to make it like it was originally. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, if that's the case, I said, then we should take off all the brick. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, what I'm told, and it seems to be, I said, is originally it was a log cabin. She said, have you found logs in the house? I said, yeah. I said, the whole flooring system underneath the main part of the house is logs. She said, oh, that's the same as the Plum house. So she's like, yeah, it could have been a log cabin at first. But see, maybe I'm wrong. And I'll be the first one to admit when I'm wrong. But there's so much different history that has taken place in there that if you were to take it back to it being, say, a log cabin, because you're saying we're trying to make it like the original, then you're letting go of the history of it being a hospital. You're letting go of the history of it being the Masonic Lodge. You're messing up with the history of it becoming the Arnold House, with Mary Arnold owning it, the blacksmith. All of these things that have happened and transpired there are the history of the house. All of the changes that have happened are all part of the history of the house, including Mark and Tracy Holmes and family changing it or bringing it back to life. So you can go through and you can see every bit of the history that's involved in the place, at least in my mind. And I know I have a troll in here who's saying that I'm not restoring it, I'm just renovating it. You can look at it how you view it. But had I not been getting it from the city and doing what we're doing to it, it wouldn't exist. And that's my take on it. Now, others may see it differently than I do, and that's cool. But here's what I think is cool. What I think is cool is this, where floor joists is holding up this house, that didn't see the light of day once they were put in to the house. And now, after them doing their job for, and I don't know if this was original to, or what time frame the kitchen was put onto it, but the fact that these are now going to be seen, I think, is actually really cool. In the end, I've learned in life, it doesn't matter what you do. There's always going to be somebody who hates you for what you're doing. What I will say, as far as in the town of Waynesboro goes, everything I'm getting is positive. If I had $1 for every person who said, we love what you're doing, oh, so back to the vision. We're going to find out if I'm a designer or not. Because this place is either going to look really cool or it's going to look really bad. But here's what the look is going to be. The countertops, we're hoping that we have enough money left over for granite countertops. But what we want to do is we want to put granite countertops with the farm sink on the back half. The island, which is going to be the focal point, will be the antique heart pine butcher block top. The fixtures and all the hardware for the doors and things are going to be black. Can't tighten. I am, my hands are just, from digging and painting and everything else, my arthritis is bothering me today. This is where they always say, or at least I always say, you can never have too many clamps. So what you see right here, this is just one wing. So I'm going to make 2 of these, cut them in half, and then glue them up. Got to get these things tight so that way the glue really sticks. This will be a big, big countertop. Now, here's again, oops, excuse me, sorry. Here's the vision that I have. I do have a cooking channel, but I haven't been doing that much on it because keeping up with the Cowboys and keeping up the Red Brick House has been just really keeping me extremely busy. But when I cook, the problem I have when I cook is the stove is like right here. The camera is where you are. And it's not great for being able to see. So when we found this stove that is a stove for downdraft stove. It's a downdraft stove which is made to go in an island. It's perfect because here's the thing with the island. The island, if you have been watching the show, as you come in from the front room into the kitchen, you're going to be seeing the side of the island. And you've got the window that's in the back. You've got the farm sink that'll be underneath the window. You'll have the stove that's right there. And the way this island is going to work is basically 36 inches of the island is the workhorse. There'll be a cabinet that's in there, so open up the doors. You know, your crock pots and your big pots and stuff can sit in there. There'll be, on the back of it, there'll be actually space for 4 chairs to go up underneath of there. So people will be able to sit at the island while we're cooking. So it'll be kind of like, is it Benihana's, where they're cooking there at the table? That's going to be how it's going to be. And so I can set a camera right on the wall over there. I can be talking to you guys directly while I'm cooking right there in front of you. So it'll be a great, great look. And if you're entertaining, I can picture people, having a glass of wine and sitting around there while you're cooking and stuff. I think it's going to be really cool. I at least I hope it is. I have great visions of this and being able to bring people over, to have the downlight that's over top of the island there that illuminates it really nicely. I don't know how good a downdraft, the downdraft stoves work as far as getting the smoke and stuff. What I may end up having to do is eventually put a hood, like a low reveal hood, up in the ceiling to help counteract it. But we'll find that out in the near future. So this is what I'm going to do here for tonight, because I've used up so many clamps here, and I've got some that are down in Waynesboro right now. That's all I'm going to do right now, because you got to have enough clamps. And all my other clamps are like 6 and 7 foot long ones, and I don't really want to try and rustle with those right now. And it is 9 o'clock, so it's time to go ahead and relax a little bit for the weekend. But we've got the red brick house. Tomorrow we'll take this apart and we will run this to the planer and see how it looks. I'm happy with these pieces because with these being the 2x6 and stuff, there's not a lot of nail holes in it. And for the most part, all of this is nice straight grain. I only have one knot in here and like this check, but I think when I plane it, it'll come out. One other thing I'm going to do with this too. Because it is the stove as well as the eating island, I'm going to make it so it's 2 levels. So I'm going to just drop down the 30-inch wings. I'm going to make those like 1 3/4 inches. And then the other half where people are going to be using for eating, the 24 by 90, the long part, I think I'm going to make that like 2 3/4. So that way it's got like a lip between the stove and the people where they're doing. So it just kind of gives you a demarcation point. Demarcation point. So there you go. The work never ends, people. The work never ends. 200-year-old wood. Isn't that beautiful? I'm Mark Holmes, and well, I'm going to go take it easy the rest of the evening. I'll see you later. Peace.